Let's talk about gold prices. They're heading lower. I shorted myself and managed to make a bit of money on that, and I remain bearish, and I still think they can trade lower on the back of the new vaccines kicking in and helping people to go back to some sort of normality and people shifting away from haven assets into undervalued stocks. Let's take a look at that in today's market update. All right, so this is gold prices, and gold prices have been under pressure for some time. So it's quite interesting, this is the beginning of 2020, and we went up, and then they came down with stocks, and then they moved upwards. And people said, oh, what's going on here? Why are gold coming down on the basis of COVID-19? But at that little point here, everybody just wanted to exit and just hold cash. But then when we had all the market stimulus kicking in, all the support by central banks, then gold prices started to go up and up and up and up and up. And I think this little part here was a bit of an overshoot where the average retail investor started to get involved. I was actually getting a lot of calls when we were heading up higher here, and everybody was wanting to get into gold. Then we had a bit of stabilization, which tends to come after these sorts of moves, and then we started to go lower. Now, this is the game changer here, at least in the short term. This is when Pfizer announced that they had an effective vaccine. Now, that ultimately led to the creation of this pattern here, which is a descending triangle pattern. And the market went down, stabilized for a couple of days, and then we went lower again, which made perfect sense. Why does it make perfect sense then? Well, it makes perfect sense because with the COVID-19 vaccines, maybe by summertime or maybe even earlier, we will be able to go back to some sort of normality. Like what the governments want to do is that they want to minimize the amount of deaths. And for example, in the UK, in London, where I'm based, they're going to roll out COVID-19 vaccines for health workers and people with underlying conditions over the next couple of weeks. And that will dramatically cut the number of deaths, and that will allow us to go back to some sort of normality. So what's happening now is that people buying companies like Cineworld, which is like a cinema operator, very big in the UK and also in the US, and they're buying their shares. They're buying shares in airlines. They're buying shares in all these different industries and companies where they were under pressure, and they're shifting away from gold. So that is triggering the current bearish price action. Now, from a technical point of view, we did trade below 1847. That triggered that descending triangle pattern, and that gives us a target of 1731, which is down here. And that's where I think we ultimately gonna be heading towards. Now, I had a limit order to sell here, and I traded from about 1847 or so all the way down to 1805. And then I closed out my position because I was looking for a bit of a bounce to sell and then target the downside. It didn't happen though. Instead, the market just went down a bit and then up and then lower. Now, if we look at something like a 4-hour chart today, it's quite clear that this level here at 1819 is the important level. And we could potentially look to get involved if we wanted to on a bounce. So I think if we go up to something like 1794, I think people are probably going to look to sell there and then target the lows again. That will be the current lows like 1763, and then ultimately maybe down to the target at 1731. So I am bearish. I do think we can go lower, and I'm happy to be bearish below 1826. There's also some really interesting patterns in silver, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. So check that out here on the YouTube channel of ATFX. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.